It could not be a better start to the week to kick off the UFL. And guys, there is no better way to cover everything that we got to see today than what just happened earlier this morning. Welcome inside the huddle, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Lucas Hill. I'm just going ahead and getting that link out there so you can all join on in. Okay, that's enough of me. Post is out there, by the way, guys. Y'all go ahead. Y'all run it up. Y'all join. Come on inside the show. Again, guys, thank you for joining us real fast. I'm your host, as always, Lucas Hill. Want to do me a favor, guys. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Make sure that you leave a comment down below for every time we go live to have your questions read. Why don't you do us a favor too? Y'all want to leave a super chat? That's cool too. Anyways. I wish. Anyways, if you're watching this on our mainstay station X, make sure you leave a repost. Make sure you like, share all those friend groups. If you're watching us on the Instagram, make sure you leave a comment down below and give us a follow on all the socials. Ken Whisenhunt earlier today announced that he will be stepping down from the UFL's Memphis Showboats. So if you remember, guys, we've talked to So if, excuse me. Bottom line is this, guys. We have seen craziness already in the UFL. This is back-to-back weeks that we've seen a head coach of a UFL franchise decide to take a leave and end up taking a leave of absence. I don't know what is going on with Ken Whisenhunt. I don't know why he decided to take a leave of absence. So now, this is what CEO Russ Brandon said. If and when Ken Whisenhunt is ready to return to the UFL family, we will welcome him with open arms. We take pride in the UFL being a family-first league, and we respect Ken's decision to take a leave of absence for personal reasons at this time. I don't know if he's really wanting to come back into the UFL. I don't know if he's wanting to come back and do coaching. That's my biggest thing, guys. I don't know what he's going to do at the end of the day. I will respect anything that he decides to do. But guys, at the end of the day, this is huge. Especially for Memphis, who is trying to revitalize their offense. I watched them last year. They got destroyed. Case Cookus did not look like a future NFL quarterback on a roster. And look, I love Coach Flip. I love Coach John DeFilippo. Guys, Memphis just wasn't good on offense last year. Now you brought in an offensive mastermind in Ken Whisenhunt. Now, I understand. Believe me, I understand. Coach Whisenhunt has not been around the game of football since 2023, whenever he was a special assistant to the head coach. He hasn't been in the pros since 2019 as the offensive coordinator with the Chargers. So I don't know what Coach Whisenhunt is going to do. He's a former Super Bowl winner with Pittsburgh as the OC. He's a former NFC champion with the Arizona Cardinals. My thing is this: what is on his mind? What's on his mind? That's the bottom line. I want to know if Coach Weisenhunt really wants to do this. If he's really wanting to take this opportunity. I don't know if there was a disagreement in the contract late in the season. I don't know if there were promises that were kept that were broken. I don't know. I can only speculate, but I'm not going to because it's inappropriate at this time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to respect his decision. Does it suck that he is doing that this happens? Yes. Do I wish him nothing but the best of luck? Absolutely. I wish him nothing but the best of luck. So, in comes interim head coach Jim Turner. Let's talk a little bit about Jim Turner. Let's talk about what his experience is. And I want to thank our good friend James Larson for what he posted on Pro Football Network. So if you remember last week, guys, DC Defenders head coach Reggie Barlow decided to step down and take the Tennessee State head coaching job. Now, that might be a case of more money at the end of the day. Do I respect him for it? Absolutely. He's going to do what he's done best. I think he wants to be around the college game. I think that's where he'll fit best in. And if I'm being honest, I think that's his primary target of what he wants to do. So, at the end of the day, guys, I have nothing but respect for what Reggie Barlow's doing. I know that it's going to be a long way up for both Memphis and for DC after losing their head coach. I don't know if they're going to be the bottom two when it comes to the end of the UFL season. I do have them somewhere in the middle of the pack. I have DC maybe at 4 right now. I have Memphis at 5 because I just don't know where Memphis is going to be at this point in time. But now, I don't know, man. It sucks because it's Ken's first year in spring ball. Look, from what I heard, they were trending in the right direction. You know, you're talking about a team that went 2-8 the year prior, and now he steps down. There's no guarantee that he's going to return. He may be done for the whole season. Here's what Jim Turner brings to fruition as the interim head coach. He's got plenty of experience at the collegiate level. He's been an offensive line coach for a while. Been with the Miami Dolphins as well as the Cincinnati Bengals. And he's been with the Breakers, been with the Showboats the last 2 years. And so there's going to be more that he is going to bring to the table as a coach. I love Jim Turner. I think he's an excellent offensive line coach. I think he's one of the best that is in the game right now. I think he's an underappreciated offensive line coach. Was in the Kevin Sumlin era with Texas A&M, as well as with Jimbo Fisher, O-line coach for the Miami Dolphins. So, look, this is still a good offensive line that is being led by one of the top offensive line coaches in the league. And I think he's going to bring a lot of experience. But this is his first time ever being a head coach or an offensive coordinator. So, right now, according to what our good friend James Larson said, Memphis doesn't feature anyone on staff who has true play calling experience. The timing couldn't be worse for the organization, especially with how smoothly things were going in training camp up until this point. Their only true coordinator is Jaron Horton, who was brought in as a DC from Pittsburgh as the Maulers DC. But I do like Jaron Horton. He's a former Southeastern grad assistant. good kid, was in the Atlanta Legends as the secondary coach, and was a star nickel and dime coach and an interim DC with the Huskies of UConn. Maulers for a little bit in the USFL. Was with Kirby Wilson and Ray Horton as well. So I don't know what is going to be expected at the end of the day with guys like that, and with Coach Ken leaving. I don't know what Coach Jim's going to bring to the table. There's definitely a lot that is him stepping away. It's definitely a lot. I don't know what's going to happen, bro. So apparently the comment section is going crazy. Now officially and it sucks for me to say that because of how popular the league can be and how it just hasn't reached its full potential just yet. I think if the league was able to get the right funding and the right attendance numbers, I think it is. So it could be Fox and RBC getting cold feet, Ken getting out before a pending strike, because remember, there's still a strike going on in the UFL, or no, that not really a strike, but more of a protest / holdout of guys that weren't going to the quarterback camp with Coach Jordan Palmer, and with the guys that didn't participate in training camp for the first few days because of the money issue. Leagues in turnover. Fox and RBC is not on the same page or something along those lines. The Barlow timing was based on the Eagles hiring Eddie George. Or no, excuse me. Not Eddie George. But we talked about Scott Loafer getting hired as Philadelphia's quarterbacks coach. So we don't know, man, because we saw this earlier back in 2019 when then head coach Brad Childress left the Alliance of American Football League before the season started. Initially, he was going to be the Atlanta Legends head coach before he ended up bailing. And he said it was just because of long-term doubts for the season. But I don't know, man. There's just so much that has to get unpacked with this. And it's just so weird that Coach Whisenhunt would leave just like that. There's definitely a lot of internal struggles going on in the UFL from what I'm hearing around the league. And I hate that this affects the league as a whole, man. It really does. All right. Let's continue on. So we talked about Reggie Barlow leaving earlier to go take the head coaching job at Tennessee State. We talked about that last week. And I think it's a pretty interesting job that he's taking over for Eddie George. And like I mentioned, Eddie Barlow has a lot of experience as a head coach at that level. And knowing what he has done overall at the HBCU level, I think that's a big reason why Tennessee State decided to go after him. I mean, he's a really, really smart play caller, and I think he's going to be one of the best that has come through Tennessee State in a while. You think success was good earlier? You wait and see what they got left. So Shannon Harris will take over as the interim head coach. Actually, I think he's following him at Tennessee State. I don't know, though. Don't quote me on it. I'm not sure. But he may or may not be. Yes. So, yes, he is going to be the interim head coach. I do expect him to leave after the season to go follow Coach Barlow as the OC. We'll see. Really excited to see what we got, man. Really excited to see what Shannon Harris got. Longtime quarterbacks coach, former Tennessee State player. And look, Shannon Harris is in the organization. He's been around Barlow the last 3 years with the Defenders. So I think he's perfect for this job, just knowing how he knows the ins and outs of the organization. I think it's going to be a pretty decent fit for DC as we begin the opening game of the season. All right, UFL action begins this week. And I am really excited. Season 2 kicking off this Friday. We will be in Houston for that day, and we are very excited to get into Houston. And it is going to be really, really fun. And I think that it's going to make a profound impact on the league. So let's go ahead and take a look at our league schedule as we begin kind of play. We'll cover more with our good friend James Larson when he comes on either Tuesday or either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm really excited to talk to James. I know he's very busy for this week. But again, let's talk about St. Louis and Houston. The game that we'll be going to. Houston's going into rebuild mode at this point. And Houston has a lot to look forward, needs to find a quarterback. I feel like this has to be the year where you have to find some sort of stability at the quarterback position. I love what they bring. I like Anthony Brown as their quarterback. I think he is an excellent playmaker as a quarterback. I think he can bring a lot of experience. I think he can do a lot of great things at the end of the day. And I love what he has brought to the table with just his overall presence as a quarterback. I saw him whenever he was at Oregon. And I love what he's brought. By the way, The Rock's going to be at Tedecchio for the season opener, so we're excited to go see The Rock then. So it's going to be really fun and really, really exciting. Just getting to see all of this and just really getting to see what we have in store for this game. I think it's going to be a action-packed event. I'm extremely excited for this Friday. My dad will be going with me. I'm excited to see what door at the end of the day. And there's going to be more that you think is going to be more to come at the end of the day. There's more to come from this league. But again, right, like I was talking about earlier, Houston has to find their quarterback, but I think it's going to be Anthony Brown. I'm fairly confident it's going to be Anthony Brown. But again, I feel like this upcoming game, opening one at Tedecchio, is what you need to get off the ground and running as you go into your second year with CJ Johnson at the helm. And look, I have a lot of respect for CJ Johnson. I really, really love CJ Johnson. Here's the guy that's from the New Orleans area, former Saints receivers coach. He is Houston full and through. I mean, well, he is the one that defines a roughneck. Here's the guy that was a longtime that was a Gamblers head coach before, when the team was called the Gamblers. They love Damon Arnett. They love Leon O'Neal. They love Corn Elder. They love those guys. I do too. I think it's huge that you get those three guys leading your secondary. I think they're going to be difference makers at the end of the day. I think they're going to make a big difference at the end of the day for what these teams are going to really solidify themselves whenever you get into the month of May and when you get into June, when it really starts to shape up in playoff time. But I think the biggest thing of concern that we need to look forward to is the offensive line. The offensive line was one of the worst in the UFL last year, and that's a big reason why that Houston struggled a lot last year. You just never could get consistency from them. And you have to have that. If you don't, you're going to be in a world of hurt. It's not going to come easy for you, but I promise you, if you can get somewhat consistent on the offensive line, things will be much simpler. Again, one step at a time. I got to see improvement from the offensive line. I got to see improvement from the quarterback position. I got to find a guy. If I'm CJ Johnson, I am finding a guy this upcoming Friday. Whether it be Brown, whether it be Henderson, whether it be McClendon. All three have extraordinary talent. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day. I watched Jalen McClendon last year whenever he was at DC. But I don't know, man. I don't know really of what to expect from the quarterback position because I just love that St. Louis offense. They are so explosive. I understand that you may have lost a guy like A.J. McCarron. By the way, we talked with our good friend Arlington Lane about it. We know that there's a bit of chippiness between the organization and with how McCarron feels about it. Guys, at the end of the day, this is Manny Wilkins' team. I know people are talking high about Max Duggan. This is Manny Wilkins' team. And I have a lot of faith in Manny Wilkins to get the job done at the end of the day. I love what this receiving room might be one of the best in the UFL at this point in time. Look at how deep you are. And look at how deep just overall with what your offense looks like. You return the UFL Offensive Player in the Year in Hakeem Butler, who is a freaking monster. You signed Gary Jennings Jr., who was a UFL champ last year with the Stallions. Didn't get a lot of playing time, but guys, when he's on, he can be on. You brought in a guy like Denzel Mims, who a lot of analysts thought that he was going to be a first-round draft pick at some point. And then you talk about who you brought in with Jacob Pearson, who was an all-XFL team, was the XFL's receptions leader and receiver a receiving yards leader in 2023. You talk about a room that is deep, that is to the core. I love this offense. I would not be surprised if St. Louis ends up with the number one offense, maybe at least the number two offense in the UFL behind Birmingham. But again, guys, I think this team is whatever the spread is. I think this one might end up being a blowout. And I want to say that it will be a blowout? No, but I do think that at the end of the day, I just trust. We're going to take a break, guys. We'll find out this issue. Let's hear from our friends at vocalbreaks.com. It's vocalbreaks.com.
Are you a music producer, DJ, or just someone who loves to remix tracks? Well, say goodbye to messy, low-quality track separations and hello to vocalbreaks.com, the most powerful AI-driven music editing tool on the market. Unlike other separation tools, Vocal Breaks harnesses the most advanced AI model available, delivering crystal clear vocals, pristine instrumentals, and an unmatched precision, all online with no software required. You can extract vocals or instrumentals with studio quality accuracy. It's perfect for remixes, mashups, karaoke, and music production, and for a faster, cleaner, and more reliable than any other service. So if you want the best, don't settle for less. Go on over to vocalbreaks.com and use code LucasHill10 now and experience the full future of AI-powered music editing. That's vocalbreaks.com using code LucasHill10.
All right. Hopefully we don't have any more interruptions other than that, because I do apologize ahead of time for the stupid internet. Okay. San Antonio going up against Arlington. San Antonio, to me, has the number one defense in the UFL. Guys, Wade Phillips has been around the landscape of football over the past, ever since the 1960s. Former NFL head coach, was assistant coach of the year in 2015. Wade Phillips is the man when it comes to defenses. Wade Phillips is, to me, still on top of all of football when it comes to defenses. I love Arlington. I love Luis Perez. I think that San Antonio is going to get after Luis Perez. I think they're going to pressure him all night. Give me San Antonio in this one. In a low-scoring game, it's going to come down to a field goal. Don't be surprised if Destroying ends up making a field goal. Memphis and Michigan. What a matchup this one will be. Michigan has an answer. We talked with our good friend Zach Linfield earlier in the week. And we talked about this team, and we talked about what they have to say. And look, Zach Linfield has done a great job of covering the Panthers this year. Guys, it would not surprise me one bit, because, look, this is still a brand new offense. It's a first-year head coach that's going to be going into his first ever game as a head coach. I just don't have a lot of confidence in it. Even with that, look, we talked about the pass rush. San Antonio and Michigan are going to be 1 and 2 when it comes to the best defenses in the UFL. Mosquito Hawk. I firmly believe that. I have all the faith in the world, and I have a good feeling about a team like Michigan to get after the quarterback. We've seen a lot of breakups in the in the pass rush department. They've been getting after asses during during training camp, joint practice sessions. They've been having a blast with them. Give me Michigan in this one. In the final game to end off week 1 of the UFL season, Birmingham going to Audi Field to take on the San Antonio or the DC Defenders. Yeah. Welcome back, Alex Magoo. He's going to throw it all over the field. And I think every single road team is going to win this game. It's going to be a sad time to be at Tedecco because I just don't know, man. I don't have a good feeling about Houston. I don't have a good feeling about what Arlington is going to do. I don't know what Memphis is going to do without their star offensive coordinator. I don't know if any momentum is going to be lost. Again, though, this is still the same roster. I think I don't know what to think about Jim Turner as your new offensive and head coach. We'll see what happens there. Birmingham, welcome back, Alex Magoo. This is going to be a great start for him. All right, that's going to do it for today. Y'all have a great night. We'll see if we can get better internet connection tomorrow. Peace.